Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2022 Lexus RX350L. And this is a little bit of a swan song for this car because in a few months, when the new 2023 Lexus RX models come out, the L will be discontinued. So for posterity's sake, today what we're going to do is we're going to review this car. We're going to talk about what is a Lexus RX350L. We're going to measure out the cargo space. We're going to look at the passenger room. We're going to look at the convenience features on the vehicle and the safety features. And as always, if some of that sounds interesting and some of it sounds boring, check the description below for timestamps. So what is a Lexus RX350L? Well, obviously it's a Lexus RX, which is sort of the standard bearer for the luxury mid-sized SUV segment and has been ever since the original RX debuted in 1998. This is the AL20 model, which is the fourth generation Lexus RX, so they've certainly figured out what they're doing by now. And on this fourth generation platform, they made a longer version available, which this car is. It's 4.3 inches longer so that they could fit a third row seat in there. But interestingly, all of that additional length goes to the body. The wheelbase remains unchanged. So that does kind of limit the possibilities for the passenger room in the third row seat, but we'll have a look at that later. And of course, this being the RX350 model, this just has the regular 290 horsepower V6, no hybrid powertrain or anything like that. On this particular Lexus, V6 front-wheel drive, just like God intended the RX to be. Now it's time to measure out the cargo space, so that means we need our laser tape measure. We need to kick under the bumper to open the door, and we'll measure it out. The length of the rear cargo area from the back of the cargo area to the bottom of the third row seat with the third row seat in place, 1 foot 8 inches. The length of the rear cargo area from the back of the cargo area to the bottom of the second row seat with the second row seat in place, 3 feet 6 inches. The height of the cargo area, 2 feet 6 inches. The width of the cargo area at its widest point with the Lexus first aid kit removed, 4 feet 3 inches. The width of the cargo area at its narrowest point in between the wheel wells, 3 feet 8 inches. The length of the cargo area with the second row seat folded down to the back of the front seat, approximately 6 feet and 2 inches. I say approximately because it does kind of depend on where you have that front seat set, but that one's in relatively a mid position, so we'll call it 6 feet and 2 inches. And if you need to lift something into the back of your Lexus RX350, you will need to lift it 2 feet and 9 inches. And just for fun, underneath here, you do have room to stow your tonneau cover, and you have some tools and the jack for the spare tire. And you do get an actual spare tire with this car, but it's stowed underneath. So that's the cargo area in the Lexus RX350L. Now we're going to look at the passenger space in the Lexus RX350L, and we're going to start with the third row seat, but I'm not going to sit in it. Now, first of all, those third row seats are power operated, which is a nice touch, but they do kind of take a while. Allow me to demonstrate. Okay, here we go. Here it comes. Kind of shifts itself. Bring it on back. Come on now. Oh, happy beep. And then if we want to put it back down, that takes a little while. But even though it does take a long time, they give you a second set of buttons to do this with on the back door jamb. The problem is, once they're in place, if you have the back seat set to the rearmost position, which basically, in my opinion, being a relatively tall fellow, gives you a normal amount of legroom, there is no legroom for the people in the third row, none. Now, it is possible to adjust that second row seat, move it forward so that you could have legroom for the people in the third row, but this is really only viable if you're putting small people or children in the back, in my opinion. If you and your family are not particularly tall, you might be able to fit 7 of you in this thing, but it would be a stretch. I can see why Lexus is not offering this option on the next generation RX. I think that's probably a good move on their part. But anyway, this is a video showing this one so we can all remember how funny it was. But with all that being said, let's see if me at 6'5" can sit behind himself in the first and second row on a Lexus RX350L. All right, as you can see in the front seat, good room, knees aren't quite touching there. I'm sitting upright, but I definitely have enough headroom. And if we go to the back seat, same story, just enough room there, good headroom in this car, nice and roomy. I expected no less from the precision engineering of a Lexus. Now we're going to start talking about the convenience features, and I'll start in the back seat. And I'm actually going to start by talking about the third row. I'm not going to sit back there though. Now the third row seat may not have very much passenger space, but Lexus did give those people their very own climate control. You have buttons back there, you can change the temperature, you can change the fan speed, and that's all for the third row passengers. So that's a very nice touch for Lexus to put that in there for them while their legs are being crushed by the second row seats. Now, once you're in the second row, you do have a little bit more room, and you have air vents to give you air from whatever the front dual zone climate control is doing, but you don't really see any USB ports when you're looking around down there. But you do have them. If you deploy the center armrest in the back seat, you will notice there are 2 USB ports hidden in there so that your back seat passengers can charge their devices. If you've got 3 people in the back seat and somebody needs to charge something, they're kind of out of luck. Now I'm sitting in the front seat and I have the Monroney label for this car right here, and the sticker price on this vehicle was $58,390. So it is a pretty well optioned RX350L front wheel drive, and it's got pretty much the features that you would expect for a luxury car of this price point in the 2022 model year. Of course, you've got power windows, mirrors, locks, keyless access, push button start, heating and air conditioning, and on the heating front, this car is equipped with the cold weather package, which amongst other things includes a fast response interior heater. Now, I've done some research on the internet in regards to this fast response interior heater, and what it apparently is an electric heater that is somewhere in the heating system in this car, and it is known as a PTC, a positive temperature control unit, so it will heat the car up a little more rapidly on cold days, as opposed to just waiting for the engine coolant to come to temperature and then heat the car, which is how a car's heater typically works. And to go with that on this car, we also have the heated and ventilated front seats. Those were a $640 option, and a very nice heated wood and leather steering wheel. That was a $450 option, so this car will definitely keep you warm in the winter and keep you cool in the summer. Now, it also has the premium package, and that gives you the moonroof, wood ornamentation, driver's seat memory, and I would like to say that I really do like the wood in this car. It's got kind of a natural grain look to it, and it goes very well with the rest of the interior, in my opinion. Another option that this car has is the navigation system. Now, the navigation system is $2,285, which to me is a lot of money in 2022 for a factory nav system. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also included as standard on these cars, so you could argue that you don't really need the nav. You do have to plug your phone in to use the CarPlay and the Android Auto, but still, that would save you $2,285. But my understanding is, at least on this particular car, the navigation does include the bigger touchscreen, which is a nice feature, and you have the little touch pad to control things as well. That is a Lexus-y sort of feature, and I'm not sure that I'm a big fan of it. I'm tall enough that I can just reach out and touch the touchscreen, but maybe once you get used to that kind of touch control pad, you'd prefer to use that. I do like the navigation system in this car. It looks very nice, it does its job well, but one quirk that it has is it leaves these little red dots around everywhere that you've been to kind of show you the paths that you've already traveled lately, and that is something to keep in mind. Let's say you were being unfaithful to your spouse and you shared a Lexus RX, you might want to take one of the other cars because this thing will stooge you off. This car also has the wireless charging. That is a $200 option. And one thing I'd like to point out is this car has very good interior storage in my estimation. You've got the wireless charging pad kind of low and forward. You have another spot that's specific to sticking a cell phone in, a couple of cup holders, a decent center console. You have some very nice pockets in the door that include holders for bottles of water, and even the door handles. They're the kind of door handles I like, where they don't just fall through. There's a little shelf in there so you can keep stuff in the door handles. That is one thing I really like about this car, is the storage on the interior is very nice and convenient. I recently drove a Toyota Corolla Hybrid, which is built by the same manufacturer, Toyota, Lexus, same thing, and it really was lacking in the interior storage department. And I know that's a smaller and less expensive car, but it doesn't take much to engineer these little things in there. So Toyota, go back to the drawing board on that one. One more thing this car comes with standard is a CD player, and I will be shocked if that is still true on the 2023 models. But then again, the very last car to ever come with a cassette player was a Lexus SC430, so maybe they'll hang on to the CDs for one more generation. Now we'll talk about the safety features in this car, and there are quite a few of them. The 2022 Lexus RX350 came standard with the Lexus Safety System Plus 2.0. That gives you your lane tracing assist, your road sign assist, pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert with steering assist, and intelligent high beam headlamps. Now that's a lot of words and mumbo jumbo, but basically what that means is the car has adaptive cruise control, it has emergency braking, so if it thinks you're going to hit a car or a person, it will beep at you first to tell you to stop, and if you don't stop, it'll hit the brakes to at least try to prevent the collision. If you are getting out of your lane, it can either beep at you or vibrate the steering wheel or correct your steering a little bit to keep you in your lane. And if you want, you can turn on automatic high beams so that you're not just blinding everybody at night like everybody who drives a Honda Civic. Blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert is also standard. That's the little orange lights in the mirrors that light up when there's a car in your blind spot. And then when you put the vehicle in reverse, it will beep at you if there's a car coming crossways in your path. This car also has an additional optional safety feature, the panoramic view monitor with intuitive parking assist and rear cross traffic braking. So aside from just the rear cross traffic alert where it will beep at you to tell you there's a car coming, if it thinks you're going to hit that car, it will apply the brakes for you. The intuitive parking assist is just the radar sensors to beep at you if it thinks you're getting close to something in the front or the rear. But the panoramic view monitor is nice. That does give you the surround view camera so you can see exactly where you're at. Thank you so much for watching my review of this Lexus RX350L. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, tell all your friends about me, and have a great day. Bye-bye.